Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lisita, the owner and face behind Laced by Lizzie. I'm a custom wig maker based in Toronto, and I wanted to come on here and probably like start a series where I show you how I make my custom glueless wigs for my customers. So in today's video, I'll be going over how to place your mesh dome cap on your canvas head and how to stitch your closure down. So first of all, I'm going to start off by showing you the tools I use to do this. So obviously you're going to need a dome head, sorry, not dome head, a canvas block. I don't know why I said dome head. And don't mind the plastic that's on there. This is just a little, what do you call it, hack I got from another wig maker years ago to help protect the canvas back, because this gets dirty really easily. So usually the numbers are here, and if you're making custom wigs, you have to know your customers' head circumference, their measurements, and that is the beauty about custom wigs. It is customized to fit your customer measurements. It's for them. So for me, I'm a 20-inch cap size, so if I made a wig on this, obviously it would not fit because this would be too big. This would be considered a large cap size. The next thing we'll be using is a mesh dome cap. Now I love these because they are breathable. They're very breathable, so if you have sweaty scalp like me, these mesh dome caps would be great for you. So you see, it's mesh, so you know, it allows your hair to breathe. So we'll be using this. You'll also need needle. Actually, this is a needle. You'll need a needle and obviously thread, and this is nylon, no, this is polyester thread, and these are a lot thicker than the usual thread that you would find for a sewing machine like the Singer that I have there, and that is what I use to make my custom wigs, but that's for another video. And then most importantly, you're gonna need a measuring tape. So this is what makes it also custom and glueless to fit my clients, because I have to transfer their measurements onto the canvas block to make sure that it fits. So you also need one of these. So let's get into the video. Oh, and of course you're gonna need I have to show it like this because it's so tall, a tripod or wig stand. You'll have a better visual of this once I have everything in a position where you guys could see it. So let's go. Okay guys, I also forgot to mention that you're gonna need the bundles, of course, but for this video we're talking about how to place the closure on, and obviously you're going to need the closure. So this is the closure she provided. This is raw Indian hair, hence why it's so coarse. She loves coarse textures, and usually I would bleach the knots, but she doesn't bleach her knots anymore. She buys a product from another company that it's like a concealer, and she adds the concealer on here. She doesn't bleach her knots anymore, so that step that I don't have to, you know, use or do, which saves time, because bleaching the knots, waiting for the hair to dry and everything, it takes some time. So this, I believe, is I think it's a 5x5 closure, might be wrong, HD closure. So let me see if I could show you. This is a HD closure. I hope you guys could see that. So when the edges, let me see, when the edges are like frayed like that, that's HD. So this is also the star of the show, because we need this to add to the canvas block. So, oh, and this is the stand I was referring to. So this is my GEX stand. You're gonna need one of those. Before I invested in one of these, I actually used to sew in my lap or I would sew on a mop stick. So yeah, so if you don't have one right now, you can always, you know, invest. You could always use what you have around your house. And I forgot to mention, you're gonna need T-pins to pin the closure down. I usually stick my T-pins inside the canvas box, which, you know, helps to not lose. It helps me to not lose them. So the first thing is you're going to add your mesh, your dome cap, to your canvas block. Make sure it fits and it doesn't have these ripples. So I'm about to transfer her measurements to make sure that the cap fits well. This piece of thread is pissing me off. Okay, so I'm going to transfer her measurements and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I transferred her measurements, and as you can see, this is actually a perfect size for the mesh dome cap. There is no ripples. Usually if there is, or if the client's head is smaller, there would be ripples here, and I would need to go in and adjust like these. This is not as bad, so I won't do anything to it, but this is exactly what her measurements look like once I transfer them to the canvas block. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add the closure. So what I usually do is, to ensure that the closure is even on both sides, I fold it in two and I create a line. This helps me to like kind of eyeball it to make sure that it's in the middle. Now the canvas box has lines. It's merely a representation of someone's face, so I use these lines at the front here as a guideline to say, okay, this is the middle of the face, so this should probably be the person's nose, their mouth, their chin, and then these two would be like the arch above their eyebrows. So, you know, a 5x5 or 4x4 closure will usually stop here. So if the closure is within this range, I'm good. So here I place it, and then if you're not quite sure, if you can't see the line, because I can see but maybe you guys can't, make sure you line it up to the middle of this line here. This allows you to stay in the line. But if you can't see, because sometimes I can't, what I do is I fold it and I stick a T-pin inside here like that. So this would tell me that, okay, this is the middle of the cap, and I'll stick it there. And usually what I would do is I'll ensure that the hairline comes over the cap a bit. Not sure if you guys could see it here. And guys, please be gentle because HD lace is very thin, so I ensure that I'm up above it like an inch. All right, and I get a T-pin and I make sure it's flat. Again, this lace is very thin, so ensure that you are being gentle with it because HD lace rips easily. This might need to be. So remember those lines I was telling you about? I think this is a 5x5 closure because it's right within the range of the line. This one is a little bit further over, but that's fine. And you pull. So I usually go from each side. So I pin the middle first, and then I pin the sides, and then I go to the back and I pin the back, and then I do the two ends. I'm out of T-pins, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I didn't realize that I was out of frame a bit, so I got some more T-pins. I just grabbed a few that was in another canvas bag that I have. And that's a pro tip too, guys. It's always good to have more than one canvas bag because everyone's head circumference is not the same. Like I mentioned before, my head circumference is 20 inches, so 23 inches would be too big for me. So as a wig maker, and if you're starting out, it's good to have different sizes. They do come in half sizes too, but I've never used that. What I usually do is, if my customer has, like for instance, a 21.5 inch head circumference, I just use a 22-inch canvas block. I round it off and just use it. It doesn't make a difference, really. It's not a huge difference, I should say, in terms of the wig not fitting. I don't know, it doesn't look as even to me. Oh, I'm always dropping these. Okay, and make sure you lock it in, and it's locked in. Now, as I was saying before, I usually pin the front down first. Oh, I know why it's like this. It's that curve, so it's actually even. And what I do is I gently pull, because like I said, this cap is very, very fragile. Not cap, this closure is very, very fragile, so you gotta be very, very gentle with it. So I pin the middle down first, and I use, so the same line that's in the front of the canvas block, there is one there in the back here, and I use that as a guideline for the middle, right? And then I look for the extreme end, and I pull back and to the side to make sure that it is flat. And you'll see when I'm done what I mean. So I pull to the back and side to make sure both sides are even, and then I lock the pin in. So this is not completely flat, but actually it is. I can pull a little more. Like I said, I'm trying to be really gentle with this lace, with this closure, because it's very thin. It rips easily, and I don't want to rip the lace. So these, you see here, there's barely any space. This is how flat you want your closure to lay. I think I need to pull this one a little bit tighter. I'm gonna go up a little more. Boom. So I'm gonna show you when I lift it. Do you see how flat that is? That's how you want it. I usually pull tighter if it's a transparent lace closure, but like I said, this closure itself is very, very fragile, so I don't want to pull too much. But this is how flat you want it. That's flat. Now we're going to get into stitching the lace. Stitching the closure down onto the cap itself. This here is very coarse. This is raw Indian hair, the coarse type. She loves raw hair and she loves coarse Indian hair. And actually this wig is for my best friend. It's a wig she asked me to make. I think this is gonna be her birthday wig. So hey guys, while I was editing the video, I realized it was a bit too long, so I've decided to kind of cut the video down and make it into a mini series. So I'll come back and show you how I stitch the closure down in the next video, so stay tuned for part 2. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.